everyone. Today in this video, we are going to learn about SAP S/4HANA Financial Closing Cockpit. This is one of the activities which we perform in the month end or year end. The SAP S/4HANA Financial Closing Cockpit is an add-on that supports planning, executing, monitoring, and analyzing all the financial closing tasks for the SAP S/4HANA system and through integration other systems as well. So if we see the screenshot, it's an SAP S/4HANA Financial Closing Cockpit apps. So the first app is Process Closing Tasks, Manage Task Templates, Task Lists, Release Closing Cockpit Task Lists. So now let us see the theory part. The main use cases for the cockpit are as follows. Activities that recur periodically. So at the time we use this financial closing cockpit. Multiple responsible people. If there are multiple people responsible for an activity, even for that we use this closing cockpit. Processes with structured sequences and task dependencies. So if there are any processes with structured sequence, so we will post the document and then we need to do the foreign. There should be some structured sequences, and only when the first task is done, then only we need to move on to the second task. So if there are any task dependencies, even at the time we use this financial closing cockpit. The following are the main advantages of using SAP S/4HANA Financial Closing Cockpit add-on. So these are the advantages. So a common, accessible, stable app is provided for all involved. Activity execution is tracked closely, making the status transparent. Closing tasks are documented for verification and checks. You can set manual statuses for tasks executed outside the system or without automatically trackable outcomes. If we even do that activity outside, we can track it manually here. Manual confirmation and documentation are allowed for checks performed. So these are the advantages. So we can see the status of the activity transparently, and it is a stable app for which it can be used by everyone who are involved in performing those activities. And also closing tasks can be verified and are documented. Okay. And task templates, the first step. So in order to use the closing cockpit, the first step in using the cockpit is to create a task template by copying an existing standard template. You select the organizational unit level you required for the closing. Example, controlling area or company code. So closing hierarchy. And the system processes templates for month end and year end closing. So this will proposes templates for month end and year end closing. After selecting the template to copy from, you save it, and the system provides a pop-up screen in which you enter the name of the template, a description, the entity responsible, and the language. So we will give the description and who is responsible and in which language we are going to perform or we are going to create this task template. A template, so if we see the screenshot of save template as, so the template, closing hierarchy, description, responsible, and the language. And if we see this screenshot, display template, so this is like client, controlling area, company code, preparatory closing tasks at year end, subsequent closing tasks, and wages and salary postings, post period related billing documents, check goods issues, invoices, last billing request run. So there will be many activities which we need to perform at the month end or year end. So a template, this is a template. So these are all the tasks which we assign. So in controlling area, here it will show the status, controlling area, planned start date, planned end date, and variant variable selection and variant variable parameters. So this is the kind of template. So task, so what are all the tasks needs to be performed will be updated here in this template. So a template represents the complete closing process, not only from an app perspective, for your enterprise, complete closing process for your enterprise. So we will be adding all the tasks related to that particular month end closing or year end closing in this particular task template. After copying the template, you maintain the specific organizational units the template is valid for. Okay, it's for which controlling areas, which company codes it is valid for. Tasks are structured and organized into folders. You can reassign and add as many folders as needed. So tasks are structured and organized into folders. You can reassign and add as many folders as needed. The following tasks are supported. Programs with program variants can be defined and executed through the SAP S/4HANA Financial Closing Cockpit. So the following tasks are supported. So what are those tasks? Programs with program variants can be defined. We can define what are the programs and with which program variants we need to define and execute it through this financial closing cockpit. Transactions can be assigned and opened through the SAP S/4HANA Financial Closing Cockpit. So you can use it as a transaction launchpad. Transactions can be assigned and opened through the SAP S/4HANA Financial Closing Cockpit. So you can use it as a transaction launchpad. Notes are information only items. Notes are information only items. Usually manual tasks performed outside the systems are reminders. Flow definitions. Flow definition string together programs to allow automatic execution of the tasks in a sequence. So that is flow definition. So the following tasks, programs with programming variants can be defined. Transactions can be assigned and opened through this financial closing cockpit. So we can use it as a transaction launchpad. So notes are information only items. Usually manual tasks performed outside the system are reminders. So flow definitions string together programs to allow automatic execution of tasks in sequence. So SAP Business Process Automation by Redwood tasks are used to control task execution in external systems. So SAP Business Process Automation by Redwood. By Redwood, tasks are used to control task execution in external systems. External Job Monitor is used to retrieve information for task execution for jobs created. So External Job Monitor is used to retrieve information for task execution for jobs created or scheduled in other system apps or in external systems. So these are the tasks which are supported by the financial closing cockpit. So programs with program variants, transactions can be assigned and opened and can be used as a transaction launchpad, and we update the nodes which is from outside the systems. Flow definitions. So in the flow definitions we will string together all the programs and allow automatic executions of the tasks. External Job Monitor is used to retrieve information for task execution. So now we are going to create the new task. So if we see the new task, we will be creating updating the description and will mention who is responsible and who is the processor and what is the task type and what is the transaction and how we are going to use it. Assignment to closing, whether month end, year end, quarter end, and special closing. So when you add a new task, you provide a description, who is responsible and who is the processor, the task type and definitions for task types and task assignments. You can assign the task to a task folder, grouping together similar tasks and structuring the closing hierarchy display. This is optional. Task lists. After assigning the task to the template, you can create a task list. The system creates a task list of the same name as the template. You enter values for the key date, fiscal year, and posting period. Depending on the closing type you selected, month end or year end, the system transfers the activities permitted from the template to the task list. When finalized, you release the task list so that you can use it to execute and monitor closing. There is a tip. You don't use the template directly for executing closing. It's more of a generic super object that holds all the tasks. You make the tasks specific in the task list which you customize and release to use. So there is no use, means like there is not like directly we are going to run all the tasks in the task list. So it is like the selected tasks can be executed based on the activity. This is dependency configuration. If we see task list schedule monitor display all tasks, no time restriction, tasks with status all, action set for status, time frame 5-day week. So depreciation posting run, depreciation, perform periodic reposting, actual settlement project, actual settlement internal orders, actual accrual calculation. So this is the task list schedule monitor. Here they will schedule. Okay. After releasing the task list, you can define relationship between programs and transactions. After releasing the task list, you can define relationship between programs and transactions. The relationship is checked to ensure that the correct execution sequence is performed. An activity can have multiple prerequisites. You can assign task folders as prerequisites when defining dependencies. You can use the task list schedule monitor to display the execution status of the task list from a single access point. So this is the dependency. After releasing the task list, you can define relationship between programs and transaction. The relationship is checked to ensure that the correct execution sequence is performed. An activity can have multiple prerequisites. You can assign task folders as prerequisites when defining dependencies. So with this we are going to close the financial closing cockpit. The main things are how it is scheduled and how it is monitored. So we are going to copy the template. So task templates, and we will assign all the tasks which we are going to perform, and if we want to add a new task, we will add it here, and we will have a task list, and based on the task list we will schedule the task list schedule monitor. So it will try to perform the activities. So methods for, now we cover the topic methods for means like intercompany reconciliation, how we do that. So what are the methods for intercompany reconciliation? So if we see here, there is a we are checking the business partner and FI role to that business partner, and in the controlling tab we have added trading partner in supplier business partner role for ICR, intercompany. So whenever we talk of intercompany, we only remember that the business partner will definitely have a trading partner. In this section we will analyze intercompany reconciliation financial accounting component and introduce the real-time consolidation functionality. Intercompany reconciliation involves the reconciliation of open items in the general ledger and subledger accounts receivable and payables using a central system. It allows you to analyze data before the formal closing process so that you can prepare for any differences. You can also post to accounts that aren't open item managed, example profit and loss accounts. ICR uses the company and partner company entities in SAP S4 HANA. You can see the trading partner entry in the figure. ICR is important both on individual and the central company level because it provides tools to check the inconsistency of the transaction data in intercompany documents. The apps for ICR are SAP GUI transactions that can be launched with SAP Fiori. So intercompany reconciliation, CSICR select documents, CSICR assign documents, CSICR reconcile documents, display status of intercompany reconciliation. So first select documents, assign, reconcile, display status of intercompany reconciliation. So document selection. Open items are selected with ticket, data is stored, company 1010, partner 1010. Select data records, transferred new data records, and partner TS00. Selected data records, transferred new data records. In the ICR process, the data will first be selected from the sender stored centrally in the reconciliation system. The data is analyzed automatically first and then manually in a second step. The data is analyzed automatically first and then manually in a second step. Any issues are communicated to the involved accounting clerks. After this, corrections are posted as well as new documents. These will then be included in the next data selection. Using the data selection application, the system will gather all data posted to the trading partners from the sender systems selected and store it in the reconciliation system. So once we select the documents, with the automatically assign items app, the system will assign all items where the connection is clear per the rules defined in the customizing. You can check the automated assignments made in the next step. So if we see here, data records analyzed, resulting unassigned company data records, resulting unassigned. So here it is assigning, trying to assign the documents. The system outputs a log with the number of successful and open assignments. You can check the automated assignments and manually fix the open assignments with the reconciliation app. In the SAP S/4HANA, you don't need to execute the previous steps to select and assign the customer and vendor open items because this is executed directly using the reconciliation app. This is possible if the items belong on the same system. The item belongs on the same system, no remote function call for the company, and the transfer type for the entries is set to read from the primary database in customizing. This is possible if the items belong on the same system, no remote function call for the company, and the transfer type for the entries is set to read from the primary database in customizing. So it will automatically assign, and if it is not done automatically, we can even manually reconcile the statements. There are three basic business processes you can select from for ICR. It is list of reconciliation differences. Okay. So 001 is for GL account open items. This process is used when you have mostly general ledger open items for the intercompany transactions. 002 is for GL accounts not open item managed. This process is usually used to reconcile the profit and loss accounts. AP or AR open item. This process is used when you mostly post intercompany receivables or payables with customer and supplier accounts. You can export and then print a list of the differences. It will show the list of differences, but most work is done on the standard flexible screen. Unassigned data records, correct currency and amount, wrong currency, correct amount, identical reference number. Yeah. So there is little bit of differences between the partner. Okay. So most of the work is done on the standard flexible screen as shown in the figure. From here you assign the items manually. Already assigned items and any items you assign are transferred to the lower area of the screen. You select an automated assignment rule to speed up processing, such as to match the items with an identical reference number. So if we see the screen, this is ICR communication, intercompany reconciliation, open items, reconcile documents, and create mail using template, mail without template, business workplace outbox, maintain templates, maintain contact person database, change placeholder layout. You can manually assign and cancel the assignment at any time. All items will be assigned the common document group number. All items will be assigned the common document group number You can send mail directly to the business partner. You can send mail directly to the business partner. There are templates in various languages from which you must select to send the communication. You select who wants to You select who to send to from a list of contact people defined on the business partner. You can track communication and the general status of the item reconciliation with the set status functionality. If you sent an email, the status is changed automatically and accordingly. There are two basic statuses to track by default: the communication status and the processing status. This setting is customizable as well, so you can add the list of status fields. This is how the intercompany reconciliation works in SAP S4HANA. So the main basic thing is, for intercompany reconciliation, the business partner is assigned with the trading partner, and these are the apps. First we select the documents, then we assign the documents, then we reconcile the documents and display status of intercompany reconciliation. These are the 4 steps. And in the first step we select the documents which needs to be reconciled, and in the second step we will assign the documents based on the configuration. If there is any documents matches with the assignment configuration, it will get automatically assigned. If not, we have to manually assign those things. And there are 3 basic business processes, that is like GL account open items, GL accounts for profit and loss account, APAR open items. If there are any differences, we will list the differences. So here we can see flexible manual reconciliation. We can see here the currency is euro, and so you have to check the currency and the amount, and if there is any wrong currency, we have to correct it, or otherwise just we will check and we will reconcile the data. So after doing all the reconciliation, if we want to send some communication to the partner, we will send those communications. So now let us see few certification related questions. First, related to financial closing cockpit. Which are the following types of tasks are available in the financial closing cockpit? So we are talking about tasks. Which of the following tasks? So flow definition, online transactions, and remote tasks. So did you see anywhere the tasks? So what are all the tasks? This is a task template, but what are all the tasks? So tasks will be assigned in the task template. So the tasks, these are the following tasks. Okay. So the programs with program variants, transactions, and flow definitions, and SAP business process automation. and external job monitor. These are all the 5 tasks which can be supported. So flow definition, online transaction and remote tasks. So flow definition, online transactions and remote tasks. So SAP business process automation and external job monitor and programs with program variants. But here they mentioned as flow definition, online transactions and remote tasks. It's like from the external systems. So which of the following has to be created and assigned to an organizational structure before the financial closing cockpit can be used? So it is task list template. That is the first one. What is the correct order of steps when you use what is the correct order of steps when you use the SAP financial closing cockpit? So correct steps. Lastly, we release the release task list. Yes. Create template. Yes. Create tasks. Yes. Define dependencies. Yes. Create task list and release task list. After creating the task, then only we define the dependencies. So the answer is C. What is the order of configuration within the financial closing cockpit? Order of configuration. It's like again create a template, create tasks, define dependencies, create task list and release task list. This is the D. In which step of the financial closing cockpit configuration do you define parameter settings for variables of program variants? In which step of the SAP financial closing cockpit configuration do you define parameter settings? In the task list creation for variables of programming in the task list creation. Yes. So now intercompany reconciliation. Which of the following are the steps of intercompany reconciliation? Which of the following are the steps of intercompany reconciliation? Which of the following are the steps of intercompany reconciliation? Okay. Automatic presentation of reconciled and non-reconciled data, automatic assignment of documents, manual reconciliation and communication, document selection and data storage. Steps of interreconciliation. Okay, so document selection and automatic assignment and manual reconciliation. So these three are the. After you collect the data in the intercompany reconciliation tool, what are the next steps of the reconciliation process? What are the next steps? Next steps are store the data, present reconciled and non-reconciled data, communicate differences, post the correction documents. Post the correction documents, store the data, present reconciled. So communicate differences, post the correction documents. So let us see, after collecting the data, what does the intercompany. You can manually assign, and what we did is, these are the 4 steps. First, we select the documents and assign the documents, reconcile the documents, and display status of intercompany reconciliation accounts. Data will first be selected from the senders, stored centrally in the reconciliation system. Okay, the data is analyzed automatically first and then manually in the second step. So that is the data will first be selected from the senders, that is first one, and data is analyzed automatically first and then manually in the second step. Any issues are communicated to the involved accounting clerks. After this communication, corrections are posted. These will then be included in the next data selection. So data selection, and data will be analyzed automatically and then manually in a second step. If there are any issues, it will be communicated to the accounting clerk, and then the documents will get posted. Using the data selection application, the system will gather all data posted to the Using data selection application, the system will gather all data posted to the trading partners from the sender systems selected and store it in the reconciliation system. So before posting the documents, they will communicate the differences. So then, with the automatically assign items app, the system will assign all items where the connection is clear per the rules defined in customizing. You can check the automated assignment step. The system outputs a log with the number of successful and open assignments. You can check the automated assignments and manually fix the open assignments with the reconciliation app. And manually fix the open assignments with the. So you don't need to execute the previous steps to select and assign the customer and vendor open items, because this is executed directly using the reconciliation app. This is possible if the items belong on the same system. So these are the few things. So the process is used when you mostly post intercompany receivables or payables with customer and supplier accounts. You can manually assign and cancel the assignment at any time. All items will be assigned the common document group number. You can send mail directly to the business partner. So the last one is like, we'll present the reconcile, communicate the differences and post the correction documents. So communicate differences is not the last step, it is a before step, and then we post the correction documents. Present reconciled and non-reconciled data and store the data. So the answer is A. With this, we completed this is actually a basic level of understanding the financial closing cockpit and the intercompany reconciliation. So it is not an advanced level, it is very basic level. So we are preparing for FI associate certification exam, not to the professional exam. If it is professional exam, it will be little more advanced. So for associate certification exam, this information is enough and it will be helpful. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we will meet in the another video. Thank you so much.